Accountability Committee, where we gather together and strive to work together for academic achievement and partnership with a safe learning environment, and continue forth, make sure we're spending our money wisely, putting our money where our mouth is, all those good fun things. So I'm Alyssa Webb, and along here with Michael Bibbs, we're the co-chairs here at Mitchell. So we, because our guests have some pretty big topics to get to, our agenda is fairly short, and I think we're just going to dive right on in. Sound good, Mr. Smith?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, so our first agenda item is our student spotlight.
Yes. So we have a student spotlight. Our second time around with Kaylin, because Kaylin's involved in everything. If you remember, Kaylin came and what was it? What was the presentation last time?
The events and the activities were prepared.
Yes. That's right. It was around the 9/11 ceremony. Thank you for reminding me. So I'll just turn it over. I've asked Kaylin, and there was others. There's other students that were involved in what I'm about to introduce. But the Marauders Market is a site-based food pantry that is going to have a soft opening here shortly. And we also have Brent Urban with us in partnership with our community liaison, Dewey Steele. Colonel Henson, who is our SASE for the Air Force Junior ROTC program here at Mitchell, is present. Former project manager, now our success teams manager, Valerie Jordan, has taken leadership in this as well. So we have a lot of adult leadership and student leadership, which Kaylin Dawson represents tonight. And we're very excited because our partnership with the United Way, which I know many of you are familiar with, looks different now. And they moved the monthly, or I guess it's bi-weekly actually, food distribution to a different site. However, they continue to distribute to us with truck service. Regardless of what United Way, Care and Share do in terms of kind of larger distributions, what we're going to have available to us at Mitchell High School is a model similar to Coronado that they'll talk to you about. But we're very excited to have this opportunity. It's going to be a self-sustaining program, in my opinion, and students are going to learn a lot of valuable skills while giving back to the community. So that's my introduction. I don't know who wants to take it away, but I'll turn it over to the adults to then turn it over to Kaylin maybe. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. All right.
So the food pantry has been in the works since at the very end of last year. And from there, we started this year by taking a visit to United Way and Care and Share and the Sunnyside Market as well, where we got to see how they, process any food donations that they receive. And from there, we all sat down in the big conference room and we discussed the project that is the Mitchell High School, soon to be Marauder Market, that is soft opening this Friday. As it stands now, the plan is to have a grand opening January 23rd. Grand. Soft opening is next Friday. And the grand opening is January 23rd. As it stands now, myself and 8 other students are leading the way in this. 4 from our agency, 3, 4, okay, guess it's technically 4. So 3 from RTC, 3 from Student Council, and 3 from Ladies and Unions Club. And with that, we are hoping to learn about our food deserts around Mitchell High School and assist our community in many ways possible.
And to piggyback on that a little bit, Mitchell was awarded this program for 2 years. It's a pilot program from Care and Share. Brent Urban and I worked pretty hard on this one to get it here, so we're really excited that it came through. And they're doing great. The kids the room looks really good, really good. So, you know, it is ready to go. We're going to soft opening next Friday, and like you said, it's in January, we'll be opening. Yeah, I see a lot of people coming through that door. I do.
And hats off to Brent and the team. As Kevin said, we took Miss Jordan and Miss Amani, the Stuco lead and I, took the students to a couple of places, and probably the most fruitful visit was to Coronado, and got to engage with Brent, and even more importantly, some of his students, and he's doing, done, and will continue to do great things out there, and it's very inspiring. Such a great servant leader who's bringing his kids to our softball and continue that relationship and partnership. So Brent, publicly, on behalf of Nashville, thank you, sir, for all your efforts.
And then we'll take a trip to.
I do want to point out like how special this is. Mitchell applied for this grant and was chosen 1 out of 60 schools. And so this is an honor, and they are handling it beautifully. My students are so excited to come and be a part of that soft opening. So I thought it's right after our last final on the Friday before break, and so I thought I may get a couple to come. And we're now talking about potentially bringing a second bus. Yeah, so they're just very excited to be partners with you guys in the work. So hats off to you all. Yeah, thank you.
And I also think that as we move through this process, we're looking long-term to have a credit-bearing class for our students, similar to what Brent has at Coronado, where students learn about nonprofit management and leadership. So our students are going to be responsible for cleaning the pantry, ordering food, stocking the shelves, keeping inventory, as well as keeping data and doing reports to CARE that are required for this 2-year period. And I think that's a great skill set for them to move forward in their journey. So we're just excited. Brent stepped in at the very beginning, and all his assistants, and really walked us through this. But I have to say hats off to our Mitchell kids, because they took hold of this, and they were like we're done. We want this color paint, we want this. We did X, Y, and Z, and our goal has just been to try to make sure they get what they need. We're excited about the soft opening. We will have a contest for our banner. They decided on the name Marauder Market, but we will have a students contest for the banner design that people will see as they walk into the pantry. I did show Mr. Bibb the pantry, and anyone else who may want to see it. This is nothing more than after you're walking through there. But the kids have seen it. That room was painted by my kids. I think Colonel doesn't clean up, but the majority of it is everybody kids. They've stocked the shelves. They've decided that this is where we want things placed, and we want signage in both English and Spanish, and so we're moving towards that. We've ordered it for our soft opening. Of course, we'll have like the really nice vinyl stuff for our grand opening, but hats off to our students. They never cease to amaze me.
And the pilot program also awarded, like $3,000 for us to spend, and then $5,000 for us to spend at Costco. So we're going next Wednesday to spend our first half of that $5,000 for the soft opening and get all it open, and then in the opening, we'll go back and spend the remaining money for that. So we'll be fully stocked.
Can you repeat that? So you get $5,000 for what length of time?
Well, we had to spend it by the end of December, but they extended it to January for us to spend that $5,000. So we're taking a bus next Wednesday to Costco, meeting CARE and Sheriff, because they have to have their car to buy wine. We'll get bulk, we'll get all kinds of stuff. And then the kids are on the Costco, as long as Miss Jordan are on the Costco website ordering stuff in bulk, so we can give it to Barbara from CARE and Sheriff. She can order that, and then we're going to go in and buy stuff, as we need there. So that's pretty amazing. It is. Yeah, I mean, $5,000 at Costco.
And then when do you get more money? That's to carry you through for how long?
Well, it's a 2-year pilot program.
Right.
So what will happen after that, after we do Costco, is we'll get a monthly delivery
Okay.
from Karen Share.
Okay.
Yeah, uh-huh. So, and we'll order that food as well. The kids will learn how to order from Shopify on the line and everything, so.
And that program is called the Children's Nutrition Initiative, CNI. And yeah, the students will learn how to do the ordering, and that is the thing that sustains the Marauder Market, is that continued monthly influx of food.
Right. And there's a huge demand here, so.
Yeah.
Huge.
I'm sure as we move further in, we'll probably have some
Yeah.
food drives as well to help supplement.
Yeah. I do want to say, I was talking to my students at Coronado today about your guys' process of setting this up, and they were jealous that you guys have had this time to set this up well, and so they were really curious to come to learn. You know, they want to come in from the learning perspective to see what did you do to set this up. If you got to start from scratch, what would it look like? And so they're very, very excited. And yeah, I'm excited about that collaboration among our students. It's great.
How many students were, so Kaylin's representing, and thank you for being here, Kaylin, and for your leadership on that. How many students have been involved up to this point across campuses? How many?
So at the beginning, there was an additional 9 students, 3. And from there, ROTC and Student Council and the Ladies and Gentlemen's Club has piecemealed together students. Our staff class initial, our 7th and 8th block have done a lot of the heavy lifting with trying to get the room prepared and ready for food to come in. And further on, the Ladies and Gentlemen Club and Student Council will be in there to help, oil the machine, per se, for the rest of the time.
So I think, we probably are looking at about 20,
Yeah, somewhere around there.
25 students.
And it'll just grow. It will.
Kind of a neat Mitchell-Coronado connection. I've got 6 Coronado students that come over for our block 7 and 8 class, so having them in there, and even though they haven't been on Brent's team, they know other students, and Cougar Cares probably means a lot more to them now after their efforts and getting the Marauder Market stood up. So it's just kind of nice to have
Yeah, and backing that all the way up to middle of last year, I had about 30 students who helped Karen Share write the model or the grant process, and then another group of students this year that helped kind of participate in the application process. So, I mean, if you want to count of all, it's probably 30 students last year, 30 this year from Coronado. We're pushing 80 students now that somehow had a hand in it, which is great.
And part of that is, it's interesting because we are celebrating a food distribution of sorts, but there's more skills, real life skills, right? Applicable skills that students are learning. So if you think about that, 30 students last year, 30 students this year, they're learning networking skills. They're going to know about budgeting, organization, stocking. They're going to learn how to put on show their interpersonal communication skills in terms of assistance when patrons are, coming into the environment to get the food stuffs that they need. So you think about all of the skills that this is going to encourage growth in our students. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and Karen Share at the site visit, Karen Share really ran the kids through the ringer.
Oh yeah?
They
Tell us more.
Questioned them like
Yeah.
it was like it was a stranger walking into that room. And it was they got an eye opener there on that one. It was fun.
Any other?
Our kids handled it beautifully.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They did not get frazzled. At least she didn't know they were frazzled. I know, just because I know them, but, it's okay. Good.
What kind of questions were they asking?
It was, okay, I'm I'm first time, I'm coming through here, what do I do? How do you greet me? How much can I get? How many bags can I take? I mean, it was just like question after question after question. And it wasn't in a, I'm gonna get you way. It was in like,
Preparation.
hey, we just want you to understand that the questions are gonna be coming at you. And so let's get you prepared for it. And our kids, like I said, I mean, I knew they were sweating a little, but nobody else did.
Yeah, and you need to make people feel welcome. Because they're already coming into a situation where they might be embarrassed.
Sure.
So it needs to be a welcoming space.
Yes.
I think we got the right kids for it.
Yeah.
I really do.
And Care and Share has the legal responsibility as well to make sure there's food safety.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is a logistical side, and to be honest, at Coronado, man, that part always scared us to death. And we sat down with Care and Share, like, we're never gonna fail you, but we're gonna tell you where we need to improve.
Right.
And I thought that really reassured my kids as well.
And we were
Yeah,
excited, because
exactly.
our kids were excited with their
Yeah.
process. They were like, oh yeah, you're well above the 6 inches.
Mhm.
Everything.
Yeah,
here is like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it worked out really well.
Yeah.
So after the 2-year pilot period is over, Kaylin, maybe you have an idea about this. How will Mitchell students and Coronado students continue their partnership to broaden this in the community or to engage with each other across the city as high school students?
So at the moment, with the 2-year pilot program, I'm a senior as it is right now. And what we did at the beginning was we decided we're gonna have juniors and seniors start this. The seniors, obviously, we're gonna be gone after this year, but the juniors will be able to keep it going from there into the second year of the pilot program. And the idea was behind it that we're gonna continue recruiting after this year, and our juniors might turn into sophomores, and from there, freshmen that might want to hop in. I know over at Cougar Care, they have it set up to where freshmen are unable to join, so they can learn about their corner store, and then after that year, they can come in. I'm unaware of if we're going to do that here, because in my mind, the Marauder market is for every student, and if freshmen come in and they're gung-ho about it, I think they should definitely be allowed to be able to join. But for these first 2 years, it's the seniors from this year, juniors from this year as well, and we're going to divulge into our sophomores and freshmen after that. And our continued partnership with Cougar Care will come from the students from both sides.
So what does that collaboration look like? After you've grown it here and both places are up and running really independently, what can that collaboration look
Well,
like?
Cougar Shares has been in operation for about 20 years, so we are really learning from them.
Sure.
Grounds up, and so our goal is to stay connected to Cougar Care.
Yeah.
Our program will be basically similar to theirs, but of course tweaked for the
this
Mitchell
community.
And again, as I said, we're trying to move into having a credit-bearing class for our kids so that they're not just stocking and ordering, but they are also getting a valuable curriculum, which we hope to model after Coronado's program. So that's what we will be working on, I think, on the adult side, and trying to align that so that we can carry it over after this 2-year pilot program. I think that even after the pilot program, we will still have our partnership with Care and Share for the monthly delivery. And then, of course, we will start having campaigns or food drives, much similar to what Coronado has been doing. So our hope is to just continue to learn from them and build our program very similar to theirs so that there's some cohesiveness across the district. And hopefully someone will be coming to us in a few years, several years, asking us to help them do this as well. at another level.
Yeah, I would just say 3 things. One, it's been our experience after, this is year 21 for Cougars Care, that about 75% of your students, of your volunteers, are new every year. because of graduation, because of all the different things. And so we've had to learn the process of creating what we call our playbook, that every single one of our teams has to detail really, really well. Hey, here's every piece of information you want to pass to the next generation and to Mitchell and to our other partners, because you want to learn as much as you can without having to invent it yourself every year. Right? So that's one piece. And the beautiful thing is this nonprofit work only works well with collaboration, right? So yeah, everything is shareable. There's nothing sacred, in this, which we just are very, very good at that. In terms of the credit work and the CTE courses, the good news is now all of that is already on the district rolls. So it can be started and adopted by any high school, which is great. And so there's been some groundwork there, and we can take that. And then the last thing I just wanted to say as well is just to reassure Mitchell is Care and Share is very vested and very interested in this being a model through not just Southern Colorado, but nationally, because it fiscally and tangibly makes a lot of sense, right? If they have to start their own Sunnyside markets everywhere, that is a big cost. That's a big, big cost. Whereas if we can train the next generation, get them involved, passionate in the work, there's just so many wins as to that, what that partnership and collaboration will look like. So I am 100% confident Care and Share is going to be a long-term partner, and be gracious and allow us to make mistakes, allow us to do the things that we need to do to learn and grow. Yeah.
I have one more item on the collaboration piece. Through ROTC, we do a mentorship program with Adams Elementary. We try to go there twice a month. And from there, myself and one of our other food pantry members have just learned that they have their own pantry there at Adams. And we spoke with them this week, and we have made another network there where they have offered to work with us, as they've been open for 1 year now, so they're fairly new. But try to strengthen our bonds throughout the district of our pantries.
Yeah.
Right, and just to piggyback on that for a second, a lot of the middle schools and a lot of the elementary schools do not have pantries. So we would be looking at a way to open that up down the road for the middle schools and the elementary schools as well, by appointment.
So you could just see a lot of the potential here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, I think the one thing that really stands out to me is oftentimes, I know the SAC is responsible for holding schools accountable for the improvement plan. And in the improvement plan, oftentimes I think in particular this year, MIS 2 or 3 for many schools, it talks about community partnership, community engagement. It's nice to say that Mitchell High School has community partnership with a sister school in the district and coming together to, for the benefit, not only for the Mitchell community, but for the community at large. And so that's really exciting. So, any other questions for our folks?
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, please. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This hopefully will be encouraging to you all, but Cougars Care, my students had the opportunity to present this model at a national conference in Atlanta last year. And so we had to do a lot of data dig in order to figure out how Cougars Care has impacted Coronado. And actually, since our corner market has kind of taken on the stage that it is now, our scores and our data has only increased. And so we say publicly, we're not going to take credit for that. But I also will say there's probably correlation, right? That there's some students there that have been impacted in a positive way who can fully participate a little bit more in their education. So I only see good things happening for Mitchell because of this. Yeah, for sure. Educationally, academically, all of it.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Anything else for our visitors for this segment? Really excited about this. Thank you for everybody. Go ahead. I hear somebody. Anybody else?
I was just going to say, hold on to that. So Kaylin, share with the other students, hold on to your district siblings as you can work together. I mean, how cool would it be to have a painting day all together, or a stocking day, or help each other do inventory, you know, and you're in this together. What if after a hard day's work, you all go get ice cream together or something, you know? So continuing that kind of collaboration, and then from Mitchell, opening it up to your feeder schools and broadening your community, and so that your future students know this place from early on, and it's familiar to them. I think that's a fabulous opportunity for the future. So yeah, good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Feel free to stay if you'd like. There's some refreshments in the back if you're heading out. Grab something on the way out.
Was Miss Kamani here?
Miss Kamani, I saw her, but she did not make it down to the room.
Did Sharon come in?
Sharon is here.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We have Marion. Marion's here.
Okay.
Joe showed up. We have Miss Standard. Shelley's in the back.
Okay.
And we do have our IE partner, Christy Kinney, with us tonight, too.
Okay. Well, that was very exciting. Good work there. Okay. So is Mr. Blanc here?
Mr. Blanc, I will have to table. Mr. Blanc had to take his daughter to a basketball competition tonight, so we will need to table the school attendance, discipline, and MTSS one more meeting, but I did ask him if he could confirm coming in January.
Okay.
So if we could table that one for January, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay. All right, so that would be item number 2 on the
Yes.
agenda, I believe. So that means that we are down to the state plan partnership for
Yes.
instruction and empowerment. So that would be Miss Christy
Christy Kinney,
Kenny, yeah, and
Do you
you are
wanna-
here. So you will come on up.
do you want to
and-
come up, Christy, next to me, or are you comfortable presenting from there?
I can put on my basketball coaching.
All right, there you go.
Everybody can hear me.
Okay.
Do we have a microphone here?
Oh, I'm good.
Because you're online as well,
So I need
so,
to move.
well, or we can bring a microphone to you, either way.
Maybe. I don't think Matt's in the room. Actually, Christy, it might be best.
Good.
Oh, you
You're
can hear her?
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So are we starting with questions or do you just?
Let me kind of just do an intro. So I think we've gone over this a couple times, but just for clarity for folks that might be viewing this later after this meeting or who might be attending for the first time. Last May, we presented at the state hearing. It was a hearing. We got called to present, so it wasn't optional. And at that state hearing, the State Board of Colorado checked in on a progress monitor about how Mitchell was doing in year 6 in terms of being designated as an innovation school. We all know the ups and downs, I would say, of turnaround since 2021. We've been in priority improvement, back down into turnaround, up into priority improvement, back down into turnaround, and then now we're back up into priority improvement. So we've been riding this roller coaster. Spring of 2025, like I said, last April actually, we go and present at the state or to the state board, and the state board mandated partnership with a external entity. Now the district has authority over who they chose as the partner, and they chose Instructional Empowerment, who has had great success across the country and has had pockets of success here in D11. Fast forward to the fall of the current school year, and we are implementing, actually, let me back up. Let's go to the summer of the current school year. We took a team, actually, and this was a district team, but we also took a Mitchell team, and I selected 4 high energy, high talent, high skill, high will individuals, teachers that are still in the building, to travel down to Florida for the big IE training this summer, to where they could get kind of like, if you will, this boot camp experience. We actually have one of the teachers who attended that in the room, our department chair, our math department chair, Brookie Stander. We took out a member of the science department, English department, and the social studies department. Those individuals are also part of our instructional leadership team. And so now I'll fast forward to the fall of the current school year, and we are in partnership, and we are also really adopting this model of everybody deserves a coach. So Christy, who is here to present on behalf of IE and answer questions and kind of give you insight about her perspective as she gets to see how implementation goes across various schools and across different districts and states. But she's my coach. Our coaches are getting coached by instructional empowerment coaches. We have 3 site designated instructional coaches, which I think we are still the only campus in District 11 to have 3 site designated instructional coaches, but they're receiving coaching. Our teachers are receiving coaching. It's very intentional and aligned to the district model of instruction and teacher development. With that being said, yes, there has been growing pains. I think Brookie will attest to some of those growing pains, but oftentimes what we do hear from who we call our early adopters is that it has reinvigorated their teaching practice. It's I just spoke with one of my English teachers today after doing a formal observation, and I walked out of a observation with a smile on that teacher's face today, because students are doing the cognitive lift and the teachers aren't going home as drained at the end of the day. Now, though that still might be the exception and not the rule, but I think that the rule is growing in numbers over the course of time. So I'll leave it at that. Maybe I'll let Christy kind of chime in a little bit. And really, the one thing I will say is in terms of the model of instruction, which is, it's really about best practices. We know, me and Christy, I'm going to say that's the we that I'm referring to right now. We know that instructional empowerment should not be and will not be, let's say, holding our hand, for the lack of a better term, forever. And so it's really about sustainability and embedding a Mitchell way, the Mitchell way of instruction moving forward. And so it really is based in research-supported best practices. And so, yeah, I'll turn it over to Christy to kind of piggyback off of that and extend any comments that you want to, Christy.
So continuing what Principal Smith just said with our model of instruction, it doesn't happen overnight, number 1. Number 2, it's student-led teaming. We didn't create student-led teaming. It's been around since the 60s. It's been called 50 different things. Cooperative learning groups, collaborative teaming. It's been called a million different, we did not create that. But what sets us apart, because there's tons of companies that do what we do. We have our own research center, our own research specialist. She's got all these degrees, all this. We have peer-reviewed articles that have been published, and it's based on our work in all of the states that we are in. And the research and data shows students learn different. I taught high school English for 17 years. In the late 90s and early 2000s, kids learn different today, right? They need that engagement piece. I used to walk in on my son and he would be sitting there listening to the radio, playing video games with TV on. It's like, what are you doing? I can only do one thing at a time, right? So we've got to engage our students more. So with our model of instruction, as he was saying, we're going away. That's not the point. We're here to support. That's why we have a partnership. We're here to bring and help the leaders and the coaches understand it. So when we're gone, they continue to help the teachers, and the teachers help the students, and it goes away. One thing my CEO pushes a lot is we do our job, we coach our way out of the job. We don't want to be here. We want to build their capacity where they can continue the work of student engagement, which district is working for, student agency on campuses, right? Our model of instruction is just a way to get there. We've broken it down, created team structures on how to put the ownership back on the students. Brookie is a fantastic example. Colonel Henson was a fantastic example of what we call an early adopter. There's this wonderful bell curve. Principal Smith knows this bell curve. That typically, and it's from change management. It's a business, it's anything, right? When you have change, which can be difficult, 16% typically are what you call your early adopters. No matter what you throw at them, they're going to do it, right? Because they just are all on it. That's a brookie, right? The next 34%, which is your first 50% total, next are called early majority. I can relate to that because that's the kind of teacher I was. I wanted to do it, but I needed to see Brookie do it first. If I saw Brookie do it and do it well, I'm in, right? So that's where we are, and the data and statistics with change management shows if you get 35 to 40% of teachers on board, it'll start snowballing. I looked at the most recent data. I've got some more today. It's exciting. Out of your 30 core teachers, 13 are implementing. That's 43%. We're already above that 35 to 40% threshold. They added just right before Thanksgiving, 7 elective teachers. Again, Colonel Henson being the one who's adopting it, doing great. Out of the 7, 3 are implementing. Again, that's 43%. So they're exactly where they need to be. Again, is it hard, Brookie?
It's hard.
Thank you. Preach, sister. Teaching is hard. I'm telling you. But here's what, and I've told George the story. He's heard it a million times. He's probably like, stop telling the story. Even though I taught for 17 years, I was also a principal. I would stand outside at the end of the day doing parking lot duty. And kids would just come busting out. Woo-hoo! Going to work, going to practice, whatever. And then the teachers would come dragging them. They were exhausted. Teachers were getting burned out. We have to flip it. Students need to be brain fried and they're here to learn. Do they come bring extra trauma? 100%. Do we deal with social emotional? 100%. But we also need to start challenging our kids more, and that's what our model of instruction does. Once Brookie stays the course, eventually it starts lightening up for the teachers. But again, it's not going to happen overnight. Eventually they will start seeing, oh, this is how you do it, because the planning's still going to be hard. The teacher's work has to be in the planning. In the lesson, the students need to do the work. And that's what we're trying to shift. The teachers, and I did it too, trust me, I look how many kids I probably screwed up when I taught. I could teach Romeo and Juliet like the back of my hand. And I would talk Romeo and Juliet to my kids all day long. But did my kids learn it? Right? We want to know what the students learn. And so when the teachers focus on planning and then put the ownership of learning during class, the teacher that can then step back and actually listen to the conversations and track progress, and it takes that hard work during class off the teachers. One of the teachers I walked out with before Thanksgiving, I said, how's it going? And the teacher said, I love it. I know I've started slow, but it's given me the passion back in teaching. And I was at another campus this morning, and 2 teachers they're in year 2 with us, and they were like, I love it. I love it. I will never teach another way. What our model instruction is trying to do is get teachers to make just small shifts in instruction, where they see this is the way to do it. It's best for students, but at the end of the day, it's also best for teachers, because they're working hard in planning and working hard during class. We got to get them to work hard in planning and love class time, and make the students work hard in class. That's ultimately what this is about. So 100% it's hard. But because of that 13 now, I'm telling you, when we come back second semester, it's going to start snowballing. It really is, because you've got some lead implementers like a Brookie, like a Colonel Henson. I could mention all 13 of them. I don't remember all their names. I just wrote down the number. but it's going to snowball. So I know you have a bunch of questions. Do you have a lot of questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Nobody's surprised. So I heard you say that it's a drain on teachers because they're spending so much time planning. Brookie, in last month's SAC meeting, we heard people are feeling exhausted. Did you say that that is the source of the exhaustion?
I would not say it's the source per se. part of what Mitchell has going on this year is we are implementing a whole bunch of new curriculums. And that's good, I think, for the school to have these curriculums that we have higher expectations for our students and higher rigor. But because they're new, and because they're new in so many departments, the exhaustion comes less from trying to figure out how to implement these structures and more about how to implement these structures while building a new curriculum from material that we haven't seen and we haven't looked at. So we are rebuilding everything in our classrooms, not just learning how to adopt parts of it. So it's a process, but I would not say IE is what's making it exhausting by itself. I would say how much new implementation of everything we have going on can make it exhausting.
So, sorry.
Go right ahead.
No, that's okay.
She's
I'll
a
take
pro.
answers to questions.
You went to Florida.
Yes.
What did you bring back from Florida?
Oh my goodness. Does it more to that question, or can I, like, just, because a lot. I brought that back a lot.
Give me two highlights.
Okay, one highlight was I got to network with teachers across the country. There was a lot of talk about how we implement some of this inside the classrooms, and we got to hear ideas from people who had already been doing it and ways that they have done it in high-income, low-income areas, ELL students, like all over. So we got to hear, not just from the people saying it can be done, but from teachers. We got to hear from the teachers, it can be done. That's one thing. The other thing, and there's so much good stuff. I would say one of my takeaways, and I know there's a lot of different meetings that we could have gone to. I chose to go to a lot of the data ones because I love data, you know, go bigger. But like, one of the things I took away was like the reinforcement that data drives instruction. And that like we can collect data from students way more effectively and efficiently if, as you said, we're able to listen in on the conversations better during class time. We're better to see the work during class time, watching the students do it rather than trying to direct everything as it's happening. Two big things from Florida.
So were you, this is how many years have you been there?
At Mitchell, this is my third.
So how is this different than, what was the collaborative education model?
Kagan.
Thank you. How is it different?
So I feel like, one, I didn't do Kagan here at Mitchell, but I did do it up at Discovery Canyon campus for a little bit while I was up there. Kagan is a lot of just structures. It's just, here's things that you can use in the classroom. IE, I feel, gets down to what teaching practices are. It's like what Mr. Smith said earlier, it's best practices. It's learning to align your standards and your learning with like what the students are actually doing in the class. It's making sure the rigor is high for the students. It's holding students accountable for their learning, and it's holding them accountable to themselves and to their group members and to their peers. And it is, what would be a good way to say it? i.e., the structures are there to support teaching practices that should probably be implemented anyway. So.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just, in asking that, how do you feel how do you feel the students are responding to the new method, and how do you guys feel about it as doing it and bringing consistency?
So it's hit and miss. I've got a wide variety of classes. I'll start off with students who have absolutely embraced it. My pre-calc students, they have embraced it. They are loving it in the sense that they get to have that more accountability. And sometimes I don't think they realize it was lacking, but when I put them in a group and I say, you get to dictate the time to take on this, but here's all of the things that you need to complete, sort of thing, then they are like, okay, well, I think I can complete this in 2 to 3 minutes, and they actually try to do that. Previously, years past, sometimes you try to dictate that time, and they will drag their feet until the very end.
Okay.
So that's just one example. On the flip side, though, I have some classes that are really, really resistant to it. So as a whole, I feel like the students are receptive, but that doesn't mean every student in every class, and that doesn't mean that there's not a struggle, because it's something that's new, and it does put a lot more work on them. They do have to do a lot more thinking and a lot more work inside the classroom, and some of them just don't like that. Some of them do, some of them don't. But generally, they seem to, as the year has gone on, they are getting more and more used to it, and they're becoming less resistant, I would say. I was telling this to Ms. Kinney here just a bit ago that, like, I had a student, I made kind of an offhand comment, probably shouldn't have, I kind of joked a little bit that maybe we'll just take the summer mats away, and it's one of the structures we use. And they were like, why? We like it. And it was like, oh, it took me a moment to pause, because I hadn't really, at that point, like, really thought that it was as useful as they were allowing it to be. So it was fun to hear that perspective, and it made that just so I feel like, okay, they are getting used to it, they are learning to use it, and it is helping them. So, yes.
Have you finished?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. Why, or how any of the students voice to you why they're resistant?
Yes.
I'm listening.
Some of them, well, I will say only from the students who have voiced it. Some of them have been some of our ELL learners, and they find some of the structures hard to read and hard to engage with. So some of it is a communication barrier. Like if we are trying to have a group summary and they don't understand some of what's being said, that makes it challenging, that makes it hard. Some of them, that is part of the reason. Some of them have outright voiced, I just want to come to class, not do anything and pass. And it's like, okay, well that doesn't really work, so you kind of have to. But on that note, those students who did say that near the beginning of the year have had on the STAR test some of my highest growth as they become more and more engaged in this. So those are the two big reasons I've heard, but yeah. Sorry, my kid is crying.
I will say too that I was here, and it came out in last November, not last month, but November of last year. We were in classrooms with Principal Smith and things because we were already preparing and thinking ahead. And I was here, it was February, right, we had to do a school comprehensive needs assessment. We're here as a team, myself and two other individuals, all day for 2 full days, and it creates this beautiful report. And one thing I was so super shocked at is usually schools that we go into across the U.S. that are what I call on the state clock, right? It's a hot mess. Like it's what we call a conditioned school. A conditioned school where the conditions on the campus are not conducive for student learning. We can't even worry about what's going on in the classroom. We got to get discipline and attendance and kids doing this, throwing. There was a story that one of my people told. They literally walked into school and a student was literally lighting a fire in the trash can. And so the conditions here are beautiful. I was shocked. And it's evident that the administrative team and the teachers for the last 4 or 5 years have worked so hard on creating some solid systems. Discipline systems are in place, attendance, I've literally never seen it this good. That when I can come in and now we can just focus on instruction. This is the fun part. It's like, George, you can be an instructional principal now. Yes, because that's what we want to do. And sometimes we're so having to deal with discipline and putting out this fire, it's like they've worked so hard and we wanted to continue to support that. And I want to acknowledge that. And something else that came out of the SCMA, we interview a ton of teachers. And the teachers are very open. And one thing, the teachers here love these kids. And I also interviewed students. The students love these teachers. So that's why this campus is so primed to increase instruction and having student achievement can just skyrocket. That's why I requested to be here. Because at first they were not gonna put me here, I was like, no. First, I'm high school too. I was like, no, put me in Mitchell, please let me go. Because I knew how great it could be because of the work they've already done. Now we can put the focus on instruction. So that may also be why the teachers feel some pressure because the admin's like, woohoo, let's talk about instruction all the time. So I don't know, but I know the teachers are feeling the pressure, but we're gonna do some, y'all are gonna do some celebrations because they've done some great work and we wanna celebrate the teachers that are doing the amazing work and see that, folks, it is working.
So I don't know if there's any other parents in the room, but as a Mitchell parent, I will say 100% staff, teachers, and students have very personal, like very authentic, maybe is a better word, relationships. They are people to each other. They're not boss and do as I say person. They're not teacher and student. I mean, they are, but they have an actual relationship. And 100% that supports them being there for each other. So I have a couple questions. You mentioned how the teacher snowball is about to take off, rolling down the hill, hopefully after break. And there's a little more buy-in and motivation right now. So do we anticipate that from students as well? So Brooke, you talked about some of your classes are really into it and some are not. So Ms. Kinney, do we anticipate that the same thing happens for students? And my second question is, what is the time frame for IE? How do you, you sort of phased in, but you sort of just started, right? But so what is the phase out process?
Okay. So for students taking ownership, yes, it will snowball. Even back in September, we walked into a classroom, it was 9th grade, because we do also support Galileo, which are some of your students. And there was a classroom, and the teacher was introducing one of his tools. And he asked, how many have seen this? Half the students raised their hand. It made sense. They probably came from Galileo, and they started working on it. They knew, so that's helpful. We're also supporting Smart Grid this year, too. So next year, for these freshmen, it should be a little better, should I say. So students, and I've seen it, not here, but in other schools, even within the district, I've heard students ask a teacher, why can't we do that in a team? Yes, that's what we want. We want them voicing, yes, can I do this with my partner? Can I do this with a team? For some teachers who are not quite ready to implement, and that's okay, right? Because we're still willing to support them at all times. So yes, students will start, and I'm curious to see, and we can do some studies like the teachers that are implementing, what's going on in the classrooms of the same student. What grade levels do you have? 10 through 12. Well, I don't remember. So say we have all of them. So say we take 10th grade, maybe some teachers that aren't implementing go in there. Are students voicing and speaking up for themselves in those classrooms type things? But yes, students will own it. She even talked about how students were owning her look and learn, right? We're going to get you there. So they're even starting to own it in her own classroom. Your second question. So what we do at the end, well, I'll start the conversations in January, is kind of see where Mitchell is and then make a proposal to the district. And so it will be less support days because I brag all the time, and the district brags too on Mitchell a lot. Y'all know that. The administrative team and the coaches, the three that he alluded to, are extraordinarily strong in the work. They picked up on it very quickly, and they're very strong. So my recommendation is going to be much fewer days of support next year, okay? Because that's the goal. Again, they're doing the work. We have to deal, of course, we're going to deal with teacher turnover. I mean, that happens. You're going to lose some teachers and all of that, but that's a whole new, different topic. And then, so for example, we're in year 3 with Galileo. I'm there like 12 half days. Last year, there was 34 full days, right? So we do phase out. After year 3, we really don't want to be there. We've done our job, we should not be there.
For 3 years.
2 to 3, depending. It depends on the campus, because like we've had some campuses that they've had principal turnovers. So it's almost like starting over every year with a new principal. So it's like year one again. So it kind of depends. If they stay, all y'all need to stay, then yes, it will phase out much quicker.
I have another question. Anybody else first, though?
She did, you kind of answered some of my questions, because I was, one of my concerns, 'cause I hear all the great things that you're saying that are going on, but I always think of the worst. I think of the best and I always think of the worst. And so your recommendation and the direction that the school is going and where we were last year, do you feel that it's better than what it was then? And then what do you act, like I said, you don't know how the teacher, when you say teacher turnover, and I don't want to really get into that, and you say you want the teachers to stay, you want the principal to stay, that's my concern. And then the students, how far will your recommendation go, do you feel, with the state and where we're going?
So we always have to figure teacher turnover, but when you have a strong coaching staff like he does, you have strong teachers, instructional leadership team members, and department chairs that can also coach other teachers, new teachers that come in, right? Of course, it's a hiring process. You want teachers that are coachable and all that stuff. We have a new teacher on one of our campuses. She's one of the leading implementers, and it's a year 2 campus, and she is full line, right? It just depends on the teacher. So they have support systems in place already. So even with teacher turnover, I'm not concerned with new teachers coming in. He's got a department chair, he's got an ILT, instructional leadership team, and then his team as well. Plenty of support for brand new teachers, right? And starting them fresh. I forgot what was your other question.
How far were your recommendations going when you was in the district?
District or state,
The
maybe?
district and state, that's all together.
Well, state is a 2-year plan automatically.
Right.
So
Well,
my recommendation is just like the number of days that we will come in and support next year and what that support looks like. So, yeah, so the days automatically, I already know, are going to be less than this year. They don't need us here as much.
So let me ask you this, then, kind of along those lines. Sorry, Sharon. So considering that, then how closely do you look at the unified plan, the improvement plan, and how do you put those parallel together? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So where are we at with the plan as far as meeting our MTISs, and then in correlation with your phase out in the district timeline?
So their MIS1, we worked a lot, and we had input as well, because we're in there, right? And so we review every 45 days, and everything Principal Smith does aligns directly. Our work aligns directly to their MIS1 and their goals.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, and I'm in their 45-day reviews. I'm here to participate. Well, listen, they do a great job. I don't need to do anything. And so, as we go, especially the next one, I think it's in January, their next 45-day review, that'll have a bearing as well, right, on my recommendation. Please understand, can we just be honest? It's about money. I can make a recommendation, but if the district doesn't have the money, it's not going to happen. So it is not the district's fault, right? They do what they can do, obviously. But I will also speak to Principal Smith, and my colleague who coaches the coaches, she was a high school math teacher. She will come in because she's directly supporting the coaches. She will tell me her recommendation of how much she thinks they need. I know I'm working with Smith, and I've also started working with 2 of the instructional APs. So we'll combine that. I'll take George's perspective of what he thinks they need. We'll talk to the coaches. It's not like I'm just going to go make the decision. I think that seemed like I was doing it all. I'm not. We take all of the recommendations along with their progress on MIS1. That's a great question, yes. I don't like separate, because having been a principal, you got a school improvement plan, and you got this plan, and it can't be separate.
Right.
It has to all align.
Right.
Yes.
Sharon.
Okay, thank you. I know from talking to Mr. Smith that there are 8 levels of coaching that you provide, and they're now on level 1 of the coaching. How do you get through all 8 levels in 2 years?
Is that desired effects?
Let me rephrase.
Thank you.
No, it's fine. Desired effects, the 8 desired effects for MOI 101.
So we have, MOI is our model of instruction.
Thank you.
And we have 3 levels. Well, we have 6, but it's changing. 101 is just the basic structures. That's what we're looking to get through this year, right? It's getting the teaching structures in place, letting the students have academic conversations, because it's not just the teachers adjusting, it's teaching the kids how to have a respectful academic conversation, not say that was a stupid answer. Say, no, I respectfully disagree because, and validate their answers, right? And so to get that foundation set, get teachers to solidify their planning, which we know is the heavy lift, to create interdependent tasks where the students rely on one another and have those higher level conversations. That's 101. 201 will come next year, so that's a whole other level. That students are really owning it. That's why I said it doesn't happen overnight. And then 301 is where you're seeing student teaming. We consider when a teacher gets through 301, they are one of our nationwide model classrooms. Because it's like, it's happening. The teachers are loving life. The students are working hard. So it's technically a 3-year process, but we work at the teacher's pace. This one is about to get through 101 now. So we're going to get her into 201, right? There are some teachers that may not get through 101 by the end of the year, and that's okay, we will still work with them. New teachers coming in next year. Say half the staff is at 201 next year, but you have new teachers. They're starting at 101, but we coach them at their own pace and support them to get through those levels.
So ostensibly, nobody's going to make it to 801.
It's through 601.
601, thank you.
Well, if they continue, definitely, yes.
Okay.
Because another district I was in a couple of years ago, we were already at 501. But we had been there for 4 years, which we shouldn't have been. But they can continue because they have the resources. So we've really seen, because of funding, obviously, it's the coaching that's very expensive, and I get that. So we've created a lot of online resources. So it's so much cheaper if they just buy the online resource. They can go in and get the online modules. They're 3-minute videos. They can see how to implement all the way through 601. So they can continue the process without us being there. And that's what we eventually want. Once the teachers, as Brookie is starting to grasp, oh, this is what it's about, they can start going through 201 and 301 on their own.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My next question, unless somebody else has something. Thank you. So student agency is important, and there are students who are really excellent independent learners. How do they advocate for themselves? They don't need to work in a team.
So, if it's a truly interdependent task, they will.
But are
okay.
all tasks interdependent?
Not yet, and that's what we're working on the planning piece. That's where we have to teach them how to create a true interdependent task. We're not quite there yet. Some of them are. She's got interdependent tasks, right?
Mhm.
And so when you have a task where my brain can't do it just by myself, I need your brain, and your brain, then that takes those independent learners, oh, I do need my team.
Mhm.
So it's the task creation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And I think I'll extend on that a bit. We have percentages as well. There's an 80-20 percentage where if teachers need to lean back on, let's say, more of a lecture style traditional format, there's space in our instruction for that. We do want 80% of class time to be dedicated to teaming and relying on those interdependent tasks. But 20% of that, we know that there's going to have to be independent assessments. We know that there's going to be some direct instruction that's going to be sit and get, if you will, right? But there's space for that. It shouldn't be the majority.
And we also consider teaming, there's going to be a big task, but that's not all the time. Even a turn and talk to your partner, that's teaming. Is it a high level? No, but it's still teaming. Instead of me asking 2 out of my 20 students to answer a whole group question, turn and talk to your partner, I'm walking around and now I hear all the voices instead of just hearing 2 out of 20. So that counts too. And so that's what he's talking about. Even if it's during direct instruction, we talk about like 10 to 15, we're talking about blocking, right? And in 10 to 15 minutes, just have them turn and talk. You're not yet to that interdependent task. So teaming can be partner talk. It's a lot. And that's why I think a lot of times the teachers think it's going to be this huge task every time. It's like, like that's not possible. You can't create that many tasks, right? And you lose the kids at that point.
And if I speak to this too for a bit? Thank you, that's okay. In math, there's definitely times when teaming works to support learning, and there's times when students need to practice individually. And you do have to find that balance in a class, and it's not coming in saying everything has to be a team task. It is saying teach students how to learn with teams so that you can use that appropriately within your classroom. And I will also say, in your questioning about like students who work better independently, that was a concern I had last year. And there are still some students who I, like try to work with and stuff, but like I have been surprised by the students who I assumed would struggle with this most, watching them over this last semester step up and become leaders. So the people who I was like, that person absolutely does not come out of the shell. Like they don't. But right now, I have a student who barely talked last year, my second year having her. She is like super engaged every time she's with her group. And it is really fun to watch some of these students who I had thought would be just independent learners actually come out and be independent and team learners.
Do they work always with the same group of people?
We do keep the group for a while, but we change them as needed. Even in my class, like Mr. Smith was in there the other day, and I had students like moving between groups so that they can share information between the groups that they were in. So like, while they have a group that they're working with, that changes depending on the unit, depending on the lesson, depending on the structure that we're doing.
We just recently, on Monday, engaged teachers with the STAR assessment data that we have at our disposal currently. Now we even have more now because yesterday actually was the last day of the STAR assessment window, but we engaged teachers in a PD where they looked at real-time STAR data and regrouped their students based upon growth. So students that may have been together in August because of different reading and math proficiency levels now are maybe have emerged as leaders, and they're going to be reorganized into groups based upon a number of things. It could be reading proficiency, math proficiency. It could be leadership demonstration. Maybe there are some behaviors that emerged. They need some of those supports as well. Individualized educational plans. MLL students are always a consideration for us, of course, at Mitchell High School. So teachers can really be skillful, intentional, and use their relationships that we touched on earlier to put student teams together for the advantage of not only the students, but for them to, again, they do the heavy lift on the instructional planning. The students do the heavy cognitive lift within the instructional environment.
Do you see those teams as being more homogeneous or heterogeneous?
Oh, definitely heterogeneous. Definitely. Should be a low, medium, and high, and you can kind of have a little bit in the middle there where you have a low, medium, a high, medium, but it depends if you have pairs, triads, quads, so on and so forth. So it just depends. And teachers are they're getting practice with all of this. It's very complex. A kid may be here one day, our thespians today, some of our best and brightest, they went up to state competition today. Well, those classrooms lost out on, those kids weren't in teams in the classroom. So the teachers now that are not going up to state with the thespians, Johnny's gone, he's competing at state. Now my quad went to a triad, and they're having to adapt in real time. It's very complex, and like Christy alluded to, this is not, by no stretch of the imagination do we ever say, this is easy work. And like Brookie said, it's exhausting. And me and you've had conversation about that, Sharon. It's exhausting for multiple reasons. It's a learning curve. And over the course of time, just like any new skill, once the skill is mastered, it then becomes second nature, and it doesn't require as much energy at that point. Other questions?
Any other final thoughts or questions?
We might not get Christy a whole lot because she's a busy woman, so, but we appreciate her being here. So if there's any more questions, a good time to ask now. Brookie as well.
What can parents do? I'll ask that. So as parents, you know, their awareness going out of their classes, so how should they, it's probably beyond us as parents to do it, but.
Well, and I've had some parents from other schools or tell principals, so some of the stems we have is I respectfully disagree because one mother told, not here, but another principal, I was making spaghetti and my son said, I respectfully disagree to have the spaghetti. So they were, and she was like, well, where did you get that? So they shared, right? And I've had some other teachers saying, I'm using free district cards with my kids at home, you know, whatever. But as parents, talk to the kids and say, talk about teaming activities. Just talk about teaming. I want to take IE out of it because, again, it's not us. It's student teaming, it's student agency. It should continue whether we're here or not. And we didn't create teaming, it's not us. So just, are you teaming? What agency? Just ask them, right? And see, are you doing anything where you work together with other students? What things are you doing with other kids? That would be great conversations to have. You ever had like open house with parents?
Our open house passed. It was in the fall. But we'll have some other opportunities for parental engagement as
And
well.
a lot of times model using some of the structures with them that, and parents a lot of times then will understand more of what their kids are doing in school.
And that's actually a good point because I know that the district and I think the DAC, I see Marion in the back, we've talked about maybe having some more town halls and such. We can maybe, Joe, introduce some of that to families who attend as well.
Is there a possibility of including that in the newsletter that goes home? Like maybe just a couple of questions that parents might utilize at home?
Sure,
To extend the learning?
So in another school, we used to call that the school-home connection.
Yeah.
So it's just tidbits from school to family about how you can keep that connection in the home.
Yeah, great question, Joe.
Any other final thoughts or questions for Ms. Kinney or Ricky real quickly?
I will say just real quick, and I was gonna try and stay quiet, but I just have to share this. So, initially when we did they were doing the assessment, the IE team did meet with support staff as well. We expressed some concerns. And so I had been, like, how am I gonna, I'm an educator myself, how am I gonna empower my support staff? How am I gonna loop them into this process? And so now we are having weekly discussions around, and I'm implementing the common language with my support staff that our teachers are now learning through IE. So we're on the same timeline with the 45-day goal. And so we have sprints, and we're working on it. And so this week I introduced the new 45-day goal, introduced some common language, and interdependent learning. And it's like our student aides are prime for this. Like, we have them already captured, right? They're in our offices and they're sharing the work with us and the load. And so let's still use this language, because they hear us using it in the front office, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, and also it allows them to have conversations, some of the hard conversations with their peers, or with their teacher that they might be struggling with some tasks or some learning in the classroom, is that we can still just introduce some of the IE methods. So I'm doing that. Ms. Lavery and I are gonna sit down and plan out a little further, but that language now is being talked about throughout the building, and I'm proud that my support staff, clerical staff specifically, they're all in, and they're adopting the language, they're adopting the process, and it makes, and I was telling you, it's gonna help us support our teachers to move the needle, but they realize it makes their day a little bit lighter when you allow the student to own the task in being a student aide. This is what I'd like you to do. If you need help, Miss Terry knows, go to Miss Blackwell. They're finding out who I am, finding out who other teachers and who other clerical support, who are custodians and things like that are, to help them finish whatever task is assigned. So it doesn't require so much prompting and prepping. It's just kind of like, and they can work throughout their day independently and feel successful as a student aide when they're done with this saying, whew, I worked myself. Because one student was like, I have to pass this one on the other day. She was like, She relied on the team. It's basically networking. She realized, she said, I'm not really familiar with that teacher. I'm not sure. And so she passed it on to someone else.
And that's the empowerment piece of this program, right? So that these students are feeling empowered to be independent and successful. Very nice. Well, thank you, Ms. Kinney, for coming. Good work here. Good work, Mitchell staff. Hang in there. As I tell my students all the time, new things are hard and we practice to get better. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to keep us moving along because we're getting short on time. And I heard that one of our main resource and experts is in the room, Miss Marion. So I might put you on the spot real quickly. So we're moving into our community corner portion of our agenda. And before, I have a couple things about that, but I want to begin with the end of that piece, which is the engagement, brainstorming, and ideas. We've talked about how to connect and broaden this community and be engaged with one another. And so, has anyone thought about that? Did you bring any ideas? Do you have any events Mitchell can do? Have you thought about areas, outside of this building in the neighborhood or whatever that we could share time with, whether it's through an event or a conversation or an act of kindness or anything like that? It's been a conversation at the district level through the DAC, and that's why I want to do it while Marion's here, because I believe she has to leave fairly quickly. So, do you have any questions for her, or did anyone bring any ideas? Have you chewed on this at all?
I could pick up from the end of last meeting, if
Mm-hmm.
you would like. So Mr. Smith proposed this idea of a quiz bowl, and I'm in the works of writing a proposal. You'll see it soon, hopefully. But my mind goes to, if we have a quiz bowl, we're inviting in these students and their families from across the district, we can expand that to make it more of like a science sort of STEM day. We can invite people from the community to come in and have little booths that maybe students can interact with. So maybe we have museums come, or the fire department to do some sort of things in the parking lot, or maybe we have athletes, if we can find them, to come in and run events on the field, or do something to make it if we're doing the quiz bowl, there's going to be downtime. And if we have all these families in here, why not encourage them to interact with our school in more meaningful ways? So it's not just the quiz bowl, it's more like this knowledge day, I would say. I don't know how to say it, but it's rolling around in my head. I think it'd be really fun to get families from these elementary schools, middle schools, into Mitchell, not just for the quiz bowl, but to just open up a planetarium for the day if we can. Shoot, I wouldn't say shoot bottle rockets, but make explosions in the parking lot somehow with really easy science experiments.
I never saw this side of you, Brookie. Blowing things up. Okay.
I know liability, but find someone to come in and run science experiments that kids can do, hands-on activities that they might enjoy, and just put a positive spin on the school, on science and STEM, because I am compassionate about math. I'll own it, and I think it could be just a fun day.
So what if we asked Mitchell families what talent they have to offer? So do we have a family member who's a firefighter and could come in and run that booth? Or do we have, some sort of a leveled athlete? Or do we have a scientist or a doctor? So could our Mitchell families host the booth for the feeder families to come in?
That's a fantastic idea. I'm going to add it into the proposal. But yes, I know one of my students, his dad does work in the fire department. One of my students, his dad was doing some pretty cool stuff in the military. There's all, yes, these families have a lot to offer. And it's a really good idea to allow them to come in and help run those booths. So, appreciate that thought.
Anything else?
This is a great project. You continue with this, maybe you want to reach out to the district. There is, the Family School Community Partnership has a team, and a part of their team has been trained in like project management techniques, and they can really help you with putting this into, like, so that it actually really happens. Because a lot of times we have really good ideas, but they don't ever happen because along the way we get lost, or we feel lost, or we don't have the resources, or we struggle with getting what we don't know. And they are really good at helping you with this, and they're also really good with getting you some of those resources that you were just thinking about, what you can find within your own community. Maybe they have partners they can bring in and can create those connections.
If you can look me up with a name or like specific people, yes. Yes.
Did you, Marion, did you say there was a actual like department or office you
It's
said?
the Family School Community Partnership, and it's Lauren Mason who does that, who works with Dr. Jessica Weiss.
Thank you.
So it's just Lauren Mason. Yeah. Yeah.
So Ricky, for the knowledgeable part of it, I don't know what you're thinking of that, if that's student against student, if that's parent against student, maybe it should be the SAC against student, maybe it should be, I don't know, but I was wondering if you've thought about that aspect of it.
So I was thinking, like, depending on how large we made it, I was thinking teams against teams of students. So like students from a specific elementary school facing off against students against a different elementary school.
Okay.
So a little bit of like ownership for the schools to bring students to like participate as well. But depending on how large we make it, we can make it by grade level, or we can just make it one team per elementary school.
Sure.
And I'm not sure yet how many teams we want, because the more teams we have, the larger this gets, the more complicated some of the planning gets. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Maybe we make it for fifth graders. And maybe that building, you know, they put it out to all their fifth graders, and then they develop the team and get them in place and all worked up and ready to go, and then it's just fifth graders. Partly because academically, it could be really cumbersome, right, to involve too many grade levels, but also because then they're a little bit older, and it won't be all that long before hopefully they're here as a student. So, I don't know. One thought.
Fifth graders would work. We could definitely make that happen. And if we expanded it, we probably wouldn't go any lower than fourth grade.
Right, yeah.
I love the knowledgeable idea, and just to put this out here as well on the table, and if the SAC would like more information on this, we are already in the process of running our inaugural 8th grade Discovery Day is what we're calling it. And so we've already gotten the district approval on that, and this is a great opportunity for the SAC to get involved as well. And we have already gained commitment from Saban, Galileo, and Swaggart to bring students on campus on January 21st, 2026 in lieu of the traditional 8th grade open house. What we found in this community over the last 4.5 years is that we don't get great student or parent participation in the evening of that 8th grade open house. But what we are going to do this year is we are going to run our second benchmark assessment for the PSAT and SAT, formerly Horizon, now Progress Learning. So our students on that half day will take that second benchmark in preparation for the spring standardized state assessments. And then when our students are finished, we are going to be bringing 8th graders on campus through our Title I funds and expose them to the various programs and activities that we have to offer, as well as our academic model that we're putting forth, so that we can offer to those students in terms of the word agency. Is there a program? Is there something at Mitchell that entices them to become a marauder? So that's another potential and near opportunity for community engagement and parental involvement as well. Just because we're bringing 8th graders on campus during the day, we're not closing our door to the parents that might be off or might want to take work off to come in and be part of that as well. So more to come on that. And if you would like me to present on that, we will have our next SAC meeting prior to January 21st.
Are you going to invite any Mitchell students to stay and be
Yes.
involved with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I've kind of already voluntold a couple of departments, like, I need you to find me your best salespeople, and they need to, put on a show of sorts. Thespians, choir. I'm going to be, the athletic director, Mr. Short, is involved on the planning committee as well, having coaches on campus. So, yes, short answer is yes, we're going to have student involvement on that. Marion, I saw a hand go up in the back.
So you kind of mentioned and said that like you won't leave, you will open the doors to the parents. I think you should go a step further and invite them actively to join if they can make it for that day, and figure out a way to do something with their younger siblings. Because, it's great if you go and visit a school, but if you have your 4-year-old constantly hanging on your leg, you're not taking much with you. But if there's someone taking that 4-year-old off the leg for that hour, you gotta come to that school.
Great idea. Yeah, we can definitely fold that into the plans. But I just wanted to throw that out too, if the SAC's interested in that. Like I said, we can revisit that a bit more at the next meeting, and then we would love to have SAC participation on that day as well.
And so also, as a community connection, I shared with Marion that she had her, but Mitchell's offered to host the district accountability hosted SAC workshop in January. So we're waiting for that final word from the district, but she was pleased with us. So thank you, Mitchell SAC, for that energy and opportunity to invite the SAC workshop in. What is that date again, Marion?
January 29th.
29th,
Thursday, from 6 to 8. And thank you guys so much for inviting us. That was such a lovely surprise. Principal Smith emailed me, and it was really great. And we were so happy to be invited. And then I learned that this comes out of you, from you guys, and that makes me even more happy. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So January is going to be a busy month for us SAC people here at Mitchell. So you better get your snow boots on and get ready, because we're going to be here a lot. So, okay, if there's no other burning ideas about engagement, but I'd like you to keep that in your head, thinking caps for a while, because the engagement piece here at Mitchell could grow a little bit, and we maybe just need to, we're doing that, what she was just talking about. This is teaming right here. We're having a discussion, we're brainstorming, we're sharing the energy. So, and that's probably the foundation of how we build something like engagement, right? So, yes, ma'am. Sharon?
Is it possible for somebody from the staff to attend a staff meeting and just invite more
Yes.
teachers?
Monday, the 15th.
Thank you.
Come on over.
And
We're going to be celebrating our teachers that are moving across. I'm seeing, a x-axis in my mind, moving across the continuum for desired effects. We're going to be celebrating those teachers on Monday, December 15th. And so yes, if we start promptly at 7:30 and end at 8:30, generally. So yeah, if you want to come and just say some words and invite more teacher to SAC meetings, let them know what you're hearing, so they know that the feedback loop is consistent. You're more than welcome.
We also have that special guest on Monday.
That's true.
No, not that special guest. State Senator Anthony Thornton.
Who's a Mitchell alum.
And from the class of 74, will be here. Also assembly.
That's
and
right.
our future-ready,
I'll be here. I'll be here.
Okay,
Awesome.
on Monday, yeah.
One other community engagement piece that happened today, actually, and we did mention this in November, but yay, Mitchell, it did happen today. The student council, I believe it was, went to Feeder Elementary, Twain, and did the toy drive. And I don't know if they have a Santa, but they've done that in the past. So, is anybody in the room, did anyone go on that, or do we have a number of students that went, like, do we know the number?
We don't have any students or representatives.
Calendars on there, true.
Oh, did Callan do that
The
too?
reindeer.
Okay, okay.
How many Mitchell students went?
I don't have that exact number.
It was a bus full, one of our activity buses full.
So 14?
Or at least.
Yeah.
And today was actually, the drive has been going on for a lot of November and obviously the first part of December. Today was the distribution, the first day of distribution. Tomorrow will be the second day of the distribution. And yeah, I wasn't able to make it off campus today. And then I'll just add on, not only did we distribute toys, we ran a charity basketball game with the Unified athletes who played against our staff the other day to kick the donations in high speed in a last, the last little push to get donations. There were students that had opportunity to engage in that. Also today, the LLC and GLC led by Ms. Jordan took students to Fort Carson as incentive for their participation and engagement in that program. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we sent 19 students, 2 and 3 staff members up to Denver to compete in the THESCON, the Thespian, the theater state competition. So there were Mitchell Marauders all over the place today.
It was 14 to be exact.
Awesome. And I think we had a media student accompany them and get some pictures for the yearbook and things like that, promote that out there. Maybe some of those pictures, things like that, it would be great if they could be on the website or hung in the halls or something. Another community opportunity maybe is, and this just came into my head, so forgive me if it's inappropriate, but on Tuesday afternoon here, there's a FAFSA, what do you want to call it, Mr. Smith, like workshop?
Yeah, FAFSA workshop,
For parents and students who are required by graduation requirements to do their FAFSA. And so if any of you want to come at 12 o'clock on Tuesday the 16th, and again, be a SAC representative, and, just be supporting Mitchell in the public, and hopefully some parents and students will go and take an opportunity of the Future Center staff being there for them to fulfill their FAFSA requirement. That's another opportunity, another way for us to be present and directly supportive. So,
I have another question.
yes.
Is there a way to put there is a way. Can we put the guest network access in the newsletter and on the Marauder Weekly?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, because
Okay.
it's not there. And also, for any events that are happening, if there's a microphone available, can somebody just make a blanket invitation for parents to attend the SAC meetings?
Oh, at that event, like in the
Any
moment.
event,
Yeah,
yeah.
at the moment,
At the
sure.
beginning, before the curtain opens, or
Mhm.
before the national anthem is said, whatever.
Yes.
Because I can't believe we had so many people who voiced an interest, signed their name to
Mhm.
attend meetings, and no one has come.
Mhm.
What did you say?
It's called good
It's
intention.
got good intentions.
Yeah.
Marion, you had maybe another comment?
I just wanted to share that when we had our last SAC workshop, we were working on how are the areas connecting, and we sat at the table and People had a lot of blank faces, like, I don't know how we connect with our area feeder schools. And I've learned already a lot of things you guys are doing today. And one of the things that happened out of that meeting was that some ELL students went and took a trip to Monroe and read to the kids at Monroe. And that was happening at that table at that night. The idea was created, connections were made, and it actually
That's right.
happened due to your staff driving this and the Monroe staff following through.
That's
So
true.
not just good intentions, but also reality and
Yes.
follow through. And that was so exciting. I hope that I haven't had a chance to follow up and see how it went and if they had a
Yes.
good time. So I'm checking in and hearing about all these things. Maybe think about it for the next SAC workshop. Kind of like, what else are you doing at Mitchell with your connections to your feeder schools? Because there was way too many blank faces. You do a lot more than we heard at that night. So
That's true.
so you can give me some feedback on what you're doing, like, hey, we're doing this and this and this, just a little dumb brain. That would be so
Okay.
cool too. So that the rest of the world sees that things are not only happening in Coronado and Duluth.
Yes, okay.
Can that be on the website? It just ties in with what Alyssa said. Can you just make a page of good things happening at Mitchell and let that be one of the leading things? Because I was on the website just the other day, just to see, why would I want to come to Mitchell?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think you need to broadcast that stuff.
So Sharon,
Yes.
you are the SAC secretary. If we ask the school for a SAC page on the website or a SAC link, would you be willing to help
Marcia?
provide them with some of the SAC information
Well,
and work together with dates and stuff?
the SAC information is already there. What I'm talking about
Is
is
the Mitchell?
what's happening here at Mitchell.
Sure.
And
To
I
highlight.
was, you're on my page, because I was just gonna say, because I believe we're doing what we need to do here. But when you do get information, is there any way that you can put it out to, like Dad can put it out what Mitchell is doing here? Because a lot of times we always hear in my past experience, the negativity, but they need to know about the positivity and the things that are going around.
We have a DAC newsletter that comes out every month, and we would love to showcase some of those things. So all we need is someone to send us a picture and a snippet. And I already texted Brent Urban and said, like, send me pictures from that soft opening from the thing and a little snippet, and I know he will do that so I can put it in the DAC newsletter. But some of these other things, send it my way, we'll put it in the DAC newsletter. And I would love to have like 3 things of Mitchell every month. And I'll put them in.
Cool.
I will add that for our webpage, it is a district process now for updating the webpage, just for consistency, so we can get that
Nice to be
stuff.
consistent.
We can get that stuff in there, but it may take a little time. Marcia just can't go in and change things, is my understanding.
Yeah.
As we.
Yeah.
What is the time generally that it takes to get approval and I think I have to ask Marcia.
I'm not
I have
quite
to
sure.
go, my kid has a concert.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, appreciate you.
But we can
Well, if
find
I'm
out.
not, then,
I'll see you next week from the DAC.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and we are running a little over, but I'm gonna put one more thing out there.
Okay.
And it's connected with what happened today. So we're talking a lot about feeder schools in Mitchell. So we reached out to feeder schools and offered them something today. And one event that historically or traditionally has happened with Mitchell students but hasn't recently is the senior walk. And so wouldn't it be nice if we could communicate with our elementary feeder schools and or middle schools and say, hey, could we pick up this senior walk again and you all receive the students that you once had, so your students again can see where they may be someday and who they'll be, and just make it full circle once again, kind of like we did today, right? Like they got to see the big kids, big kids offered them, brought them something, but then wouldn't it be good if they could return the favor and receive the big kids? So, just a thought.
Who is that kind of, does Doherty, Palmer, and Coronado Or is that more like a southeast area thing? I'm not familiar.
I believe all the high schools have done it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my understanding, really.
Really?
Senior walk, yeah.
Haven't heard of it.
Mhm.
And then,
So tell us more.
So the seniors go to their feeder elementaries, and they get to walk through the building and be received by that school community, and just almost like a tunnel for like when athletes come in or out off the field, whatever. And they just walk the halls, and everybody gets to cheer them on. I think they wear their caps and gowns, and so the kids know, like, oh, that person is graduating. That's their cap and gown. They made it. They were in our school. They were all the way through. Now they're older, and here they are. And so it's like the elementary is sending them off again.
Be out for our seniors last year.
Hmm?
We had seniors who went to their elementary schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
maybe we're just not advertising it
It may
as
not be
well.
advertised, but we probably should advertise it more.
I can check in on that. The
Yeah.
powers
So
that be.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's a senior class thing. I don't know if that's a senior sponsor thing. I don't know if kids have to sign up if they want to do it. But I just thought it would be a cool, like, full circle. Our kids received the elementary, and yes, it was in their environment. But anyway,
Sure.
so just a thought. Anything else? You've been awfully quiet tonight, Mr. Bibbs. Welcome back, by the way. It's good to see you here. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Okay.
I mean, I asked, really I just felt that the meeting was very productive. I feel the energy, and let's keep it going.
Our next meeting will be Thursday, January 8th, so right after break, our first week back, actually, 5 p.m. here. And then 2 weeks after that will be the 8th grade Shadow Day, or inaugurate activity.
Discovery Day.
Discovery.
Yeah.
And then a week after that will be the SAC workshop here, hosted by Mitchell's hosting for the DAC to do the SAC workshop. It's a little confusing to word it, but okay.
Yes.
Thank you for staying. I know we ran a little over. Thank you for coming. If anybody has any comments, concerns, suggestions, questions, Mr. Bibbs and I are always available. So.
Thank you all. Have a good night. Thank you. Oh, happy holidays, everybody.
Our